Before we start, I must ask you a question. Do you prefer digital or physical games? And let me know in the comment section below. Now, the premise that either owning digital or physical copies of games and one being better than the other is an odd one, and it sucks. It really does. But it is kind of funny seeing people defending their choices between the two to the grave, because obviously there are benefits for both and also negatives. However, I've had this idea boiling over in my brain for a while, as it's something that comes up in conversation fairly often, and so I thought it would be an interesting topic to actually go over for a video, so let's do that. Now, I personally own both digital and physical games, but for me the majority, it has to be physical. Here is pile number 1. It's so ridiculous. And pile number 2. Sekiro, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Assassin's Creed, Assassin's Creed, Assassin's Creed, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, and so much more that it's kind of daunting to stare at. Yeah, I guess it is the majority of physical games. The main drawing factor for me with physical games is that, well, you have it in your hand and you can touch it, you can stroke it, you can even kiss it. No, let's just go back on track. Owning physical copies of games means that you actually get to keep it forever, providing, you don't damage the copy in any way. And I do find it way more satisfying to hold something that I've invested so much time into, rather than it just being something that when I delete it, I forget about it as it slowly collects digital dust in my gaming library. Also, when downloading games, it's a much faster process, as some of the install is already downloaded onto the disc itself, and so if you decide to buy a new game, especially if it's a hefty one like Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, or even Cold War, which are above 100 gigabytes. And I've just really come to the conclusion that it's just Call of Duty's taking up my storage. That's where it all went. However, when owning so many physical games, it can take up more storage in your actual house. And some collectors have entire rooms dedicated to housing all of their games, and that's just not the commitment that I really want to make. On the other hand, with digital games, the only space that you'd be taking up is on your hard drives, whether that be on your PC or console, and therefore negating any need to create real physical space in your home. No need to find a drawer to fill or a shelf to shove photo frames off of to just display your massive gaming collection. And my main issue with digital games is that unless they're a good few years old, marketplaces will either inflate the prices slightly in comparison to their physical counterparts, where a game that you could get for £20 in store is £25 to £30 on a gaming marketplace. Whether that be on PlayStation or even Xbox, they both sort of do the same thing. And that really does discourage me from buying my games digitally, because I just don't get why they inflate the price. And I did this with Black Ops 4, which was a bad move, and I really regret spending that £90. Yay me. And it's also the fact that you technically don't own the games that you've just paid for. You technically have just paid for a license for that game, which will last until that console's servers are shut down, and from that point onwards, any games that you delete won't be available anymore, and sadly, that's just how it works. The main point that always gets drawn to digital games' favour is the convenience of having the games that you've purchased already installed on your preferred console. And I will go over PCs momentarily, so just hold on for that. But I think that this point, however, is pure laziness. The argument is that you don't need to get up off of your sofa or your chair and swap out the game that you were playing for another one, and instead you can just stay sat there and just change over to a different game from the comfort of your seat. With gamers who play on their PCs, this has basically been digital all the way, as now people are pimping out their PCs with massive hard drives to house their massive gaming collections all in one space. And the digital and physical argument is basically non-existent for PC gamers, as many services like Steam offer games for dirt cheap with sales that happen all year round, and it must be really nice to have a PC for gaming. Must be really nice. Now, I'm really not sure if the argument of physical versus digital games will last forever, because the world is ever evolving and pushing for digital media over physical media. Because honestly, when was the last time that you used a DVD to watch a film? It's been a while, hasn't it? Well, services like Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus have all pushed video stores out of the market. And I assume that the same will soon happen with xCloud's gaming service and PS Now if, PS Now actually becomes worth it. And I really don't think it's going to be long before that decision is made for us by companies pushing for digital media over physical. I feel as though people who play a big variety of games generally buy physical copies, and people who only play a few titles every year just generally go digital. And this is just going off personal experience, as I've asked all my friends about how they play games personally, and they're all very different. I just think it's such a cool way to gauge how different players play different games and their experience with both physical and digital media. But I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you play digital games or you play physical games, because at the end of the day, you can play together still, and that's the main thing. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, then subscribe, like, and turn that notification button so you don't miss another upload from me. So thank you, and goodbye.